everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My counterpart from CNY, Pamela Grattan, will be here shortly. She's babysitting her granddaughter, so she's running a few minutes late. But yes, I am the district governor-elect for District 7120, which is the Finger Lakes District. And I am a proud member of the Rotary Club of Rochester Southwest. And I have been a Rotarian since 2006. So I am definitely looking forward to this journey along with each of you as president-elects. Next year will be our year. And I'm so glad that we are taking time, monthly time every month to get together and talk about issues that are going to be of importance next year. So without further ado, today's fireside chat is going to be focused on communication and public image. Whether you're strengthening your club's brand or trying to tell better stories or figuring out how to get more eyes on your service project, this afternoon's presentation is for you. You should have received a reflection workshop when you registered for the session, but if not, I'm going to put the link to it in the chat. So if you want to go ahead and download it and take notes, it's a workshop sheet just for you for a means of collecting information to reflect back on as we start our year in July. So we do have a great panel put together for this afternoon, but before we turn to our panel, we're going to start with a brief overview to hopefully ground us in the topic of communication and public image and why it matters so much to you during your year as president next year, will matter so much during your year as president next year. So to start us off, we'll hear from CNY's Joe Abraham, a proud member of the Rotary Club of Utica. He's been a strong advocate for helping clubs strengthen their storytelling, sharpen their messaging, and embrace the tools that help Rotary expand its reach. So he'll take a few minutes to share some insights on how clubs can communicate clearly, consistently, and with confidence, all of which will be in direct support of the Rotary Action Plan and the work that you'll be leading during your year. So take it away, Joe.
Hey everyone, I'm going to share my screen fast. As I joked last night, please don't mind my 300 files on my desktop that are currently visible. Okay, so yeah, this will be a very brief overview before we get to our panelists today. And the topic I'm talking about is Rotary's blind spot, which is storytelling and social media. And the title is kind of that Rotary, we do great work, service, and it's not so much that we don't do amazing things, it's just sometimes we need to do a little bit better job kind of explaining what we do and also sharing it and that reach to community and a larger audience. So one couple tips I had today is when you're sharing news, right, try to not always approach it like a report, but maybe more like a story. Because clear emotional uh, content is really easy to share on social media. I will say, as I joked earlier, if you have, small group and maybe you don't have the storytelling or writing background naturally or someone that fits that skill set, at the very least, please share your news, even if it is more like a report. But kind of the long-term goal is to kind of look at something a little more of the story away from just a we had a great meeting today to kind of what happened, kind of the action items that took place at whatever you're promoting, and then some call to action at the end, whether it's learning more about your club or sending people to donate if it's a fundraiser and whatnot. So basically, you guys can look at this more in depth later because I believe all you will have access to the slide deck. Here's just a quick 5-part story formula. Uh, the strong lead or opening line to a story to get people's attention, kind of the need, what is the problem that you're solving or focusing on in the particular or issue, it doesn't always have to be a problem, or topic, subject that you're working on, and then kind of showing the action you did, kind of adding some human elements to the story. Is there a person it impacted? Is there a quote from someone that's involved, a reaction? And then, like I said, that call to action at the end, whether it's join us, partner with us, donate, etc. And I have an example here of a story that was written by the former public image chair for CNY Rotary, Melissa Rathman Ward, who's very active in the zone. And she wrote this story for Gift of Life of Central New York, which is called The Journey of 1,500 Kilometers and One Tiny Heart Waiting for Hope. So Gift of Life has a lot of great content to work with, but as you see, there's a adorable girl here, 2-year-old from Mongolia, who Gift of Life has helped. And so by not just saying, hey, this is what Gift of Life does, just an overview, it actually embeds her story into this um, write up, which kind of makes it more emotional and makes it relatable. And that kind of story and content can be really great in showing what we do in Rotary. As far as social media, some tips: tag as many um, partners as you can in a post when you do social media. So if you or reading to kids at I don't know what the Rochester School District's called, so I'm just using that as an example. You go there, you read to kids, see if you can tag the school district in your post that, hey, our club had a great time reading to students at the Rochester School District. Or if you worked with another organization like the Central New York Food Bank, or you raise money for them, tag them in your posts, because obviously the more people you tag, the greater the reach on social media, the more people that see all the great work that you're doing. Thank you posts are also great. If you like do a general post at first, which is just explaining like what happened, if you had a lot of partners that you later want to thank and tag again, that also gets some good traction for you. Uh, and also, anytime you can work with these partners and ask them, hey, when we tag you on social media, please share it. That's always great as well. And just keeping the message concise, or whatever you're sharing on social media, getting to the point. Uh, have that call to action in there, but don't overload it with too many links, because that can get a little bit tough for people to digest sometimes. I just put a couple social media examples here for your reference. I guess the first two are kind of cheating, because at a district level, we have so much more content to work with than perhaps individual clubs have. But as you see, Lizzie Martin, who's on the call and is vice chair of MD-PELS and is on our public image committee in CNY Rotary, she took some news that I posted to our website and made some great social posts with it. The first two you see going from the left. And on a smaller level, instead of tagging partners, what we try to do is tag all the clubs that we mention. Same idea though, expands the reach. You see lots of pictures. The next social media example there also is one that we did in the Rotary Club of Utica, my club, this past weekend. We rang the bell for Salvation Army. All I literally did on social media was we were at Shenatries all afternoon, which is just to let people know that we were there. We were ringing the bell. People like pictures. You put a lot of pictures there. And that one got about 35 likes or so, which actually was pretty good for what our posts normally do. And then I just included an example the Albany Club did last year around St. Patrick's Day. I thought including something in March would be good, because we all wish it was March probably right now after the holidays. I know we all look forward to the holidays, but weather-wise, looking forward to spring. But they did a cool, instead of Kiss Me I'm Irish, they crossed out the Irish and they put a Rotarian. So it was a cute little holiday idea that you can do for social media, which was a nice, fun, and relatable thing. The other thing is to try to make things easy, right? Like we're all really busy in our lives, whether it's our day jobs, whether it's with family. So the more we can do to make our lives easier, the better. The image to the right is just one week of great posts that Lizzie scheduled using the Meta Business Suite, which allows you to um, schedule Facebook and Instagram posts. So doing that, you don't always have to do it right when you have the content. If you have quite a bit in advance, you can just go in and schedule. So one example is in the Utica Rotary Club, we have a gala every year, and we have all these sponsors that need to be tagged and thanked throughout the process. So I don't do it as I get it. Sometimes when I get the whole list, I'll go in there and schedule it every 3, 4 days. It takes me like 30 minutes to an hour, but once I do that, I'm done. I don't have to, worry about it until the next set of posts that come through. So easy to do. Even if you have a routine, it's always good to have. Reusing content. Anytime you can take a project. So I'll use another Utica example. We planted 40 trees across the city. We do that every fall. So that one project turned into a press release, an internal facing message to our club for those that just couldn't be with us because of their schedule, letting them know what we did, social media posts. It can be taking that content and doing it and using it for so many different platforms is a time saver and is really helpful. And the last thing I have is AI. You know, people have varying degrees of uh, knowledge or experience using AI, but there are plenty of free tools that you could input, say, some basic details about an event like the tree planting project, and it will actually give you instantaneously some outlines or some examples of social media posts, you know, written content for different audiences that you're trying to reach. So that's a good tool to have if you don't, like I said, some clubs don't always have public image people naturally or people that do it by trade. So it's a good tool to have. And then just some quick final thoughts before we get to the panel. There is a Meta RI social media form attached. Please fill it out if you haven't already. Basically, what it does is you just fill out this form with the links to your social media pages, particularly Facebook, because there has been instances in our district where clubs have been shut down by Meta because Meta thinks that you're this individual club because we use a lot of the same wheel and different logos that we are impersonating the RI's general Facebook account. So filling out that form allows the RI social media team to know that your page exists, and it makes the process quicker and a little bit smoother should you ever get your page shut down because Meta thinks that you're impersonating RI. And just the other thing is please keep your pages like access organized, knowing your passwords. Having admin roles assigned, but most importantly having backups so that you at least have someone else you can turn to with access. Using rotary branding consistently. And just the other thing is please keep your pages like access organized, knowing your passwords, having admin roles assigned, but most importantly, having backups. There have been clubs that I've seen that haven't been able to post in several years because they got locked out of their social media pages because someone either left or, you know, unfortunately, sometimes people pass away. And then they didn't have a process of getting that password, and it takes a lot longer to get in there. So just having multiple people, even if they don't post that much, so that you at least have someone else you can turn to with access. Using rotary branding consistently. Are you using the correct wheel? You're not stretching the logos. A lot of tools on the brand center and also learning center when you guys take a lot of coursework too leading up to your presidency. Use those resources. And then also do not just Google images and use them without permission. Be very careful with this. I think Lizzie had mentioned to me that a pretty startling statistic that there's quite a number of copyright lawsuits and stuff that Rotary has had to deal with because of people using Google images and not, copyright issues and whatnot. So be careful with what images you choose to support things. Um, and please invest your time in public image during your presidencies. It's important to tell our story in Rotary, and public image impacts so much. It can help you get prospective members when they're aware of what you do, greater community awareness, which has more involvement and participation. So all of those are my quick tips, just quick overview before we get into the panel, because like I said, we want to get to all of the questions. I also include my CNY Rotary email and my personal email should anyone have any questions or want to reach out with me afterwards. But yes, that's all I got.
Thank you, Joe. There's a couple questions in the chat. Hopefully you can answer before we move on. Is it possible for you to either show us or describe how you tag a person or a group in social media?
Sure. So if you're on Facebook and you're in the body of a message, typically if you press the at button, the at symbol, A with the circle around it, and you start typing in, say, CNY Food Bank or a particular club or a page, it'll start showing you, listing down the different options, and hopefully you're able to find it. If you aren't able to find it easily, if you Google their Facebook page, so say, CNY Food Bank, Facebook, and you look at their URL, there's usually some type of shortcut within the URL to how to get to their page. So if you copy
Hmm.
that, and you put the at symbol again and you input that, it should show up quicker on the drop down. So that's the quickest way I could describe it to you.
Thank you. And then the other question is, do you know or have you done any presentations about social media, a workshop on basic social media etiquette so we can all do a better job of telling our stories? Do you know any resources about how to use social media better?
Yeah, so on our CNY Rotary page, our website, we have some tools that are listed there, different shortcuts or guidance. We also did two different social media trainings.
Mm.
They should be on our CNY Rotary YouTube page. Also on our website, there's usually story recaps afterwards. In between the panel, I can try to find them and throw the links in here, depending on how quickly I can do that. But they should be out there because we did two different levels. The first one was more for beginners. The second one was maybe for folks that maybe have a little more experience in social media.
That would be great if you could share those links with us. It also sounds like a topic that we might want to put on at our in-person PELS in March, or minimally at our district learning assemblies in either March or April when they're held. So I appreciate the questions. At the end of this presentation, you'll have a chance to put some thoughts down on an evaluation. So please hold on to those thoughts and make sure you have them reflected in the evaluation the link that we put up at the end of the session. So without further ado, first of all, I want to thank you, Joe, for that thoughtful and energizing overview. It was useful to me to learn the 4 steps of storytelling that you had up, grabbing attention, talking about the need, talking about what we did, the human factor, and what the invite is. That's actually 5 steps. So that I found useful because often when we start telling our stories, we forget about the who, what, where, when, and why. The other things I learned real quickly is that for social media, it's really important that clubs know your password to social media, not just Facebook, but Instagram and all the other tools that are available, and that you possibly identify several administrators. And then the other last important thing is particularly for Facebook that you should register your Facebook page with Rotary International so that they can vouch for you should something happen with Meta and your Facebook page. So, with that framing, we're now ready to hear from our panel of Rotarians who will hopefully help us explore some of these ideas from different perspectives and to share real world experiences from their own clubs. Um, but before we do that, I'm going to ask each panelist to first briefly introduce themselves, your name, your club, and your role or experience that connects you to this topic. And then we'll start firing away questions. So, first, we're going to start with Conrad. Who am I
Thank
missing?
you.
Yes, there we go.
I'm,
Yes, I do see you. Thank you.
I'm Conrad Janke with the Cortland Breakfast Rotary. I'm currently the area rep for Area 17 in District 7180. A couple of things. I fortunately talked to Joe quite a bit and emailed quite a bit, all different things. And I recently turned over public image to the young lady who's been doing our newsletter for the last year. And what a difference having her doing it than me trying to do it. She's posting some great things. She's got a lot of good ideas that the rest of us never thought of. So talking to someone in your club who might have better ideas than you has paid off for us so far, big time. And the second thing is that it's great to have social media and to have Facebook and everything, but we have to take it to a human level. People don't join a Rotary Club or go to activities just because they see it, think it's good. You have to ask them. And one thing that I have not been doing very well for our club is telling them what's going on in social media, about what's going on our Facebook page. A lot of them know about it, but a lot of them don't.
Mm.
So we'll be doing that starting Wednesday, Terry, just so you know.
Thank you, Conrad. And I know Lizzie Martin is on the call. I don't know if she's accessible, but I'd love to be able to put her on the spot. But before I do, I'm going to also ask immediate past district governor Dave Demers to introduce himself. And then if Lizzie can respond to my text, that would be great.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm I'm a tech person, a geek person, but social media, I'm still learning. But I help out with our district public image. I help Linda Cole, and one thing that I found that this with our club, I was ringing the bell for the Salvation Army just Tuesday, and while I was there, someone took a picture and I posted it immediately. This way, it gets right on there, and you don't forget because sometimes you leave and you'll say, "Oh, you know." Did I share that? So it's a matter of just using the social media, and especially if you're looking toward, the older people say, I don't know anything about social media, but if you're looking for the younger people, use social media because they're not interested in looking on a web page or even getting emails. So that's just my advice, and just a workshop for social media would be a nice for just the basics for a lot of us older people that are still learning social media. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And the reason I called upon you, Dave, is as immediate past district governor, you know more about what's happening in the Rotary International world than most of us do. So, Lizzie Martin, are you available? There you are.
Hi.
Do you mind if I put you on the spot as well?
Sure. Happy to be
Okay,
here.
thank you. So introduce yourself and what you know about this topic.
All right. Well, I am a immediate past CNY Rotary president. I've been a club president, of course, and I was the district public image chair for 10 plus years, as well as my club's public image chair for that long. And, I set up my club's website and social channels and managed website and social channels for a long time. So I also work in advertising and have a degree in public relations. So lots of experience in Rotary and professionally.
Great. Thank you very much. So now that we know a little bit about our panelists, let's start with the basics, how clubs can define and strengthen their brand and core messaging. As we begin, remember that the Rotary Action Plan calls on us to expand our reach and increase our ability to adapt. A strong, clear, consistent brand helps clubs do exactly that. It makes Rotary more understandable, more welcoming, and more relevant. So, Lizzie, I'll start with you. What are some ways that a club's brand or messaging might reflect the direction of Rotary and the Rotary Action Plan, especially in expanding our reach to new demographics or younger generations?
It's really important that clubs are familiar with and utilize proper branding and everything that they do, because when all of our clubs collectively have that same look, feel, and voice, we're going to increase our impact of the message of Rotary overall. So when people see Rotary from one community to the next, if they're able to connect the dots because you all look and sound the same, in terms of your logo, the types of photos that you use, the way you talk about Rotary, then they're going to see that bigger picture of Rotary and think, oh, this must be, the same thing that I saw in Henrietta when now I'm here in Syracuse, right? So that's a big effort that we need to drive home with all of our clubs, because I know not all of you are marketers. Everybody understands the nuance that goes into a brand and the importance of utilizing your logo out of the brand center, utilizing people of action photos, whether they're ones you take or you use from the brand center, and just representing Rotary as people of action with the proper logo. And the more that we can do that so that we're all rowing in the same direction, the better, tying it into the action plan, we can increase our engagement and increase our impact.
Perfect. Just a show of hands, how many people have actually accessed the Rotary Brand Center and know what Lizzie's talking about? Okay, almost uniform. So if you haven't, this is the call for action. You, as an incoming president, need to understand what the Rotary branding issues are and make sure that you are part of your club's process of enforcing the branding. I will ask my colleague Pamela to put into the chat the Rotary Brand Center link. It's definitely worth some time looking at and just really understanding the importance of a uniform brand. Um, but the next question is, I'm going to, I guess I'm going to ask this of, um, of Dave. I'm sorry. Um, how can your club or how can clubs keep their messaging consistent across newsletters, social media, flyers, events? Anybody have tips on how to do that?
I would say create a template, and if you're unsure of the what's on there, have somebody take a look at it. One thing I did want to talk about is in our club, we reached out to one of our family members, a younger girl who's helping us with social media. So don't be afraid to ask your club members if there's someone that they know that can at least assist your club in helping you increase your presence on the different social medias.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else want to add to that?
I would just add, Joe gave you some of a template for writing your articles, right? With the elements of a good story. Also, you can utilize AI. So you write out the full story one time, and then you ask AI to turn that into a Facebook post, to turn that into an email message, to turn that into something for LinkedIn. And it can kind of do the heavy lifting for you.
Lizzie, when you say use AI, what does that mean for
Use
people?
ChatGPT, it's this one and it's free.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Use ChatGPT.
Yep.
That's what I would recommend for, most Rotary functions in AI. It's going to do a good job for you.
Absolutely. Are there other tools that you would recommend or any of the panelists would recommend in addition to social media platforms that clubs can use today to help them with these tasks, particularly if they're a small club that doesn't have a lot of resources?
Well, another one that I utilize a lot is Canva.
Mm.
Canva.com, Canva.com. And it is a free service that you can opt to subscribe to for additional features. So there's some limitations if you're using the free version. It's not incredibly expensive to do the paid version, if your club were to want to do that. But that's where you can design graphics, you can design a newsletter, you can make letterhead and all kinds of nice things, and very easily set up a kit of your logo and Rotary's colors and Rotary's fonts with the paid version. So that when you go in, you just automatically have all of the colors on a palette and all the fonts you want to use right at your fingertips.
Perfect. Joe, in your presentation, you had mentioned using scheduling to schedule some of your posts. Can you talk a little bit more about what that might look like, or are there special tools that you can use?
Yeah, so the easiest one that we utilize at CNY Rotary is the Meta Business Suite. So Meta is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. So conveniently, if you connect your account to the Meta Business Suite, you can schedule Facebook and Instagram posts at the same time, or different times. There's you can, if you do the exact same post, you just keep both of the Instagram logo and the Facebook logo clicked with the check mark. If you can do them separately, if you want to customize them. So that's the easiest way. And for the most part of Rotary, I think the demographic here is for Facebook and Instagram, and maybe some people are using LinkedIn, which you'd have to do separately. Those are probably the three social media platforms you're utilizing the most. I don't think we've quite broken into the TikTok demographic yet, although that might be popular if you have very active Interact clubs uh, or Rotaract at the college level. They might be on TikTok or Snapchat, but for the most part, as presidents and for your club, I think having a presence on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn are some good ones. But the business suite is the easiest. However, there are third-party tools. They all have their quirks. Some people, so I would say to try to test out which ones you like. There's Hootsuite, Buffer. There's a bunch of different programs. I have just as many people that tell me they like them as they hate them. So, like I said, you kind of just have to try them out and see what you like. But there are third-party options as well that would allow you to bring in LinkedIn and some of your other ones. But at least Meta allows you to do Facebook and Instagram together because of the same.
Right. Yeah, and it's important to keep in mind that social media includes more than just Facebook and Instagram. Um, Christine, you put in the chat something about creating short videos and reels and how people in your demographic are enjoying those. Can you talk a little bit more about what you do and what a reel is and why we should know about them?
Sure. I usually use Canva because I can scale it a little better, put some extra images in there. But instead of putting up 20 pictures from an event or an activity, I can shorten that down to a short reel of just a minute, 90 seconds, things like that. And the pictures go in and out, and people tend to sit and enjoy that a lot better than scrolling through each individual picture. And you could have comments and things like, as you're going on. But we've used it for a fundraising event we had recently. We were able to play around with it and have some fun, and it got attention on Facebook. People, it was a wine trail through the woods, and the video started out with actually a trail through the woods. So it got attention. It got people to then sit and watch the video, and we're finding that that works better. And I do the marketing for my own company, my boys' DJ business, and things like that. So I've expanded and I learned through those aspects, and grown their business specifically through using pictures like that, and making it interesting, putting some fun music with it, and make it more enjoyable than just, like I said, clicking through a lot of pictures. So Canva has been a wonderful resource. I also follow Evan Burrell. He's out
Yeah,
of Australia,
right.
and he's phenomenal with getting some marketing and social media. I mean, the man actually had a suit made of the Rotary logo pattern, but he's a wonderful resource to follow and get information and bounce ideas off of as well. So and that's kind of what his job is in Australia, is branding. So
That's a great resource. Oh, where's my phone? Sorry. Um, Something you said made me want to ask you something. Oh, can you put into the link, Christine, if you can find it, a link to your that reel that you just mentioned, so
sure.
that we can also get a look at it. Are there, and this next question is open to anybody, panelists or PEs. Are there other tools that people use? For instance, my club is a big proponent of Club Runner, and there are a bunch of tools available on Club Runner in terms of scheduling, messaging, putting up events that are on your website, but then also get transferred to Facebook. And does anyone else have any tips or suggestions for how to better use some of the digital tools that are available to us? Okay, I take that silence as quiet as no. Um, Conrad, going back to you, in your role as an assistant governor, have you seen any particular type of posts that typically get better engagement for Rotary clubs? And do you have any thoughts on what makes those more appealing
You're
to
talking about
people?
post on Facebook?
Facebook, social media, anything that you
It
probably run
seems
the
to
club.
be, of course, pictures of members doing something, usually with kids. Those
Mm,
seem to really get people excited or interested.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Christine, I'm going to pick back on you again. In your role as a marketing person, do you use social media metrics to help your Rotary Club measure its progress towards action plan goals or towards anything, strategic plan related?
Haven't yet. Just starting to learn that about the metrics. I don't tend to use Media Suite, but I noticed that our members, our followers are jumping up, and we're getting more comments, more interaction from people. So I see that as a good response to what we're doing. So,
Joe, do you know much about the social media metrics that we have access to as administrators?
I don't know as much as far as what Club Runner or those things. I know with Facebook, sometimes you get some statistics you can see, but other times I just kind of use old school in the sense of like, you see a post that you do, you kind of look and see what ones do well versus not. To Conrad's point earlier, I think anything with pictures in general typically performs well. The other thing I know, because I sometimes do social media for the college that I work at, uh, don't make your graphics look too much like an advertisement. That's another thing. Just because, for certain maybe district-wide stuff, that's okay if you're trying to, direct your already facing Rotarians to things. But I know at the college there were a couple times where we tried to push out posts that was like a graphic that was for an ad for like open house coming up at the college and whatnot. And because it looked like an ad, people kind of just scrolled right by it because they were using
Mm.
that. So solid pictures, like Conrad said, whether it's kids, I think service project pictures, just anything with a group of people together tends to do better than just a
Right.
text
And
alone.
and there are tools on Facebook in particular, if you're administrator of your club's Facebook page, that you can go behind the scenes and take a look at which of your posts have had the most likes, have had the most shares, and then you can use that information to say, oh, people really like this one. I'm guessing it's because it had a reel or because it had children in it. But it would definitely be worth some time that if your club does have a Facebook page, go behind in the administrators portion and take a look at the statistics about who's interacting with your site. And the same thing can be done if you run your website through Club Runner. You can go and look at, open rates of emails, click-through rates of different things. So it is definitely worth actually collecting that data, looking at the data to help you measure what your impact and reach are with these posts that you're putting out. Um, and another thing we talked about last night was how can clubs get more of their members involved in gathering photos, writing captions, telling the stories of what's going on with their club, even if they might not be on social media themselves. Dave, do you want to try to take a stab at that?
Well, it's people are very reluctant to do the Facebook, the Instagram because they're scared. But if you, I know there was talk of say doing a some type of workshop. I try and do that once in a while with my club just to show them, hey, we have uh, a website, and we switched over from me doing a website to using Club Runner, which makes it a lot easier for me to do it versus trying to do use WordPress. It's just trying to get people comfortable. And that's what you have to do. You really, spend a meeting where you help show people how to use Facebook. And, you'd be surprised. A few of our members, have increased their presence on Facebook just by being not so scared about it or, it's high tech and it isn't. You just show people how to post and and I find that, especially the older members, if you can get them engaged, then it helps your club overall. Because when people just kind of sit there and rely on someone else, you really want to engage it part of the, one of the action plan items, increased enhancement in member engagement. So by getting them to use the social media, you are engaging them more in the club.
One of the things that my club does is we try to remind people just to take pictures at an event. And as long as we've got a picture, you can share it with someone, whether it's the person that's managing your social media or your newsletter editor. a picture tells 1,000 words. A picture says 1,000 words. So getting club members just to go out and take pictures at wherever they are is a useful way of encouraging them. Lizzie, in your role as a district public image chair, do you have any comments or ideas for how clubs might get more people involved in telling their club story?
Yeah, I mean, just similar to what you're saying, except too that there are people who are just not interested in being on social media, aren't looking to learn how to utilize it on behalf of the club, but that doesn't mean they don't have offline skills that they could contribute to the process. We have a member who he's on Facebook, but he's not going to be a page administrator or anything like that. But he used to be a newspaper reporter. So he's great at taking a photo and writing a little blurb about it. And so that's a way that he can contribute to our newsletter, to our social media, and communicate.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else have suggestions for how to bridge that gap between people not wanting to be out there and being recognized, but also the need to tell the story of the club? Helen.
I think sometimes people are just nervous to do that. So in our club, because we're a virtual club, when a picture is taken or there's a service project that's being performed, we can send pictures or short stories, whatever, to our social media chair. And she actually does the posting. So the our members don't have to do that. And it's has been very helpful.
And do you get people stepping up to take pictures and then willingly to share?
Better than what it was.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find with my club that I still have to constantly remind people,
Oh, yeah.
Saturday's event, I won't be there.
Yep.
Somebody has to be responsible for taking some pictures.
Oh, yeah. The reminder has to be consistent. Absolutely.
Okay.
But since we've been able to send our pictures and stories to the social media chairperson, there is more posting going on. So that has been helpful.
Okay, good, 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 good. Any other comments or thoughts? Do I see Christine with your hand up?
The last conference we had the social media and poster contest, to promote your club. And what that did was is it got everybody to dig through old photos, not just the digital photos. And we put together one poster and we're trying to figure out a couple of other ways of scaling them to specific items, and then we use them as recruitment tools. So the one poster has been making its way around town. Everywhere we go,
Oh,
it
really?
comes. And it's got all sorts of aspects of what we've done, either service or as a group. And then we're going to try to do we're trying to get our Interact group far more involved. So get something with Interact and our youth exchange. And so that whatever we can either fine tune it to what we're doing or just have them out when we have an event and people could look at them. We write write up as to what the pictures represent. And it was a really helpful tool at a couple of events. The sad part is I had pictures of students, and somebody came up to me and they're like, "Where did you get that picture?" And it was two students by our banner. I'm like, "I don't know, somebody submitted it," and it turned out it was a youth exchange student that we had to send back for shoplifting. I'm like,
Whoops.
okay.
Okay, lesson
I
learned.
don't think anybody's going to realize that. We're just going to leave it. I'm not going to redo. And he's like, yeah, he said that was one of our reasons we backed away from youth exchange for a little while. I'm like, well, we have a really good one now, so that'll take over that spot.
Gotcha. Wow. And that's another thing to keep in mind is that when you do take pictures of kids, make sure you've got the parents' permission to share their pictures, because we don't want to run into any problems, there as well.
I would just add another item too is I just want to quote a good buddy. I call him Canada Joe. He's on the zone communications committee over there. Joe Solway from he's in the Toronto area of Canada, who always preaches be the brand. So even if you don't have club members who maybe, I mean, it's great if they take a picture because we all have smartphones now, which can take like a quick photo. With at events, it's also cool if you just can get club members to go to events in the community wearing Rotary gear, whether it's a shirt, a hat, or whatnot, because just also think if you're not the one taking the photo, let's say you're at a Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting or something, sometimes they have people there taking photos and they might take your photo or whatnot. And that's just another way that, the Rotary brand is shown. So, yes, get them to be proactive, but sometimes if they're not social media savvy or whatnot, if you at least get them to wear some Rotary gear to a community event, there's still a chance that some way, somehow, it'll do the same thing, just maybe not you in control of it.
Right. That is a good reminder, is that wearing the Rotary gear is public image. So it could be a passive public image act where you just, once again, encourage your members to wear their Rotary merchandise when they're out and about doing everyday things. Christine, is that your hand again? I'm sorry.
Yes. Just two things. One, if there are children there and you can't get permission, take a picture from above and down, or get the back of the kids.
Right.
That's one way to avoid getting faces into the photo, or because we've had to do that with the school functions and things like that. So that is one way, is to step to the back of the room and take a photo. And then as you were talking with the branding, my favorite tool right now is a pin that I make everybody wear at events. It says, "Ask me about Rotary."
Oh,
And
I want one. Give me one.
I got them on the Russell Hampton website, and everybody laughs when we walk in because I'm handing out the pins no matter what, Rotary shirt or not. You're wearing this pin. We did a Fall Fest craft fair, and everybody was walking around with the pins on, and they're nice size. It's got the big arrow on it. It just says, "Ask me about Rotary." And it's been a good tool for people to stop and like, well, what about Rotary? So it's, again, not aggressive marketing. So
Great
we're
idea.
trying.
Yeah, love it. Dave.
There you go. I was just thinking, I picked up, we have a local area newspaper called the Suburban News, and I was looking through it. They have stories of all the organizations, and every single one of them had a picture of a group of people standing there with a check, just standing there smiling. And that's one thing I remember going to one of the social media classes somewhere where they talked about trying and get something other than people holding a check, because when people see that, they just go right by it. So if you can find another picture, maybe the actual project, get that in there so that people at least will stop and say, "Hey, I'm interested. What are they doing?" Rather
And
than
remember,
just giving a check away.
Rotarians are people of action. Get
Yes.
people in action, and that tells a really, really big story. Absolutely. Helen?
We were in the airport waiting for our flight, and we had carry-on luggage, and we had a brightly colored rotary strap around our suitcase. And we're just sitting, as everybody does, in the lounge, relaxing as much as you can when you're waiting for a plane. And I can't tell you how many people stopped and said, "What's Rotary?" It was amazing. I was shocked. I was truly shocked, but it really grabbed people's attention seeing a brightly colored strap around our luggage that had Rotary on it. So some more branding that is easy to do.
Absolutely. I would agree with that as well. Any other comments or thoughts or suggestions? Making sure everybody can be heard. And I like this dialogue. This is really what we want, and that we want to continue when we get to Syracuse in March. Is that now you guys have a little bit of relationship to each other that you can say, "Oh, Helen, I remember that conversation we had, back in December." Let's pivot for a quick second. We only have a few minutes left. Let's talk about how to tell your club story effectively. How can clubs tell stories that not only show what Rotary does, but why Rotary matters, especially to the people we hope to attract? Lizzie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. Well, Joe again did a good job giving you that outline, that guideline to follow. But I think a lot of what we talk about sometimes externally in Rotary are our fundraisers, right? The events that we connect with the public at. And a lot of times those announcements are just like a flyer, like who, what, like come to this pancake breakfast on Sunday morning at this time. The headline should be fundraiser pancake breakfast is going to feed 200 students this school year, right? So again, like identifying the human interest part, the impact of what we're going to do with the funds raised, and make that be the forefront to draw people in. And then at the end, you have, come Sunday morning, it's $10 per person, all you can eat, whatever that those details are for the event. So really stop thinking of your event promotion simply as when and where should people be and how much will it cost, versus what does that money go towards? Not just some little italic line at the bottom of your poster that says this money goes towards our general fund or something like that, but really, really focusing in on this is going to serve 300 seniors in our community if you come and have breakfast with us, whatever that looks like.
That's a really, really good reminder. Thank you. I can't tell you how many times I've gone and visited Rotary clubs around the country, and they say, come to this spaghetti dinner. It's going to be great fun on Saturday. And I'm like, well, I've got so many other things to do with my time while I'm here. Can you tell me why I should come to this?
Yeah.
And pay my money and spend my time. And then once they start talking about the event, I realize, yeah, this is a can't miss event because of what it's going to do long term, not because I'm going to be eating spaghetti, which I can be eating at home any day of the week, but because it's going to be helping all these other people in a community that I am visiting. So that's a really, really good point to make.
And also sometimes it can make people want to just make a donation, right? Well, I can't be there that day, but now that I know what the cause is and what the money's going towards here, please take my check.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Joe, do you want to add anything to that since Lizzie pointed at you in your presentation?
Yeah, I think we touched on the storytelling aspect of things. One thing I will also say is this is like a side tip, is try to build a relationship with your local media if you have local media present. I know certain people live in areas where maybe your closest radio or TV station or newspaper is several miles away. But building relationships is good, and also too, don't discount being able to send them a photo and a caption. Doesn't always have to be a story. So that's just one thing I wanted to share. But as far as effective storytelling, yes, they taught you in journalism school the inverted pyramid, right? People's attention spans are as short as possible. So, get as much of the important stuff as high up in the story as possible, so that people at least see that if they don't stay on but so long. And also too, like I said, photos are very important. And this is coming from a writer who has, very minimal photo ability outside of taking one on the phone and whatnot. It's they really do draw people's eyes to your story. So good imagery, and also like Lizzie said, hit them with the important stuff as soon as you can in the story.
Perfect. Conrad or Dave, do you want to have anything else to add to that?
Well, in Club Runner, they ask clubs to have a club motto, and very few clubs do. Ours does, but we're special, I guess. But it's good to have something that could kind of group around.
Gotcha. That's an interesting thought. What is your club's motto? Do you know?
I didn't think you were going to ask.
I did.
It just got changed recently. Right now is that it's we have fun and get things done.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. My club is fond of saying that we're a brand of misfit Rotarians. We like to get together and have fun, but we don't do Rotary the Rotary way. So interesting. Dave, did you have anything you want to add?
Well, our motto is the little club that can. So
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
like I said, just explore in the chat. Go to some of the links, and there's some Facebook pages. Follow some people. Just like I said, engage. If you can find someone that's, even if it's a friend of Rotary, that can help your club with your social media and help people. That's all I can say is just keep
Perfect.
working at it and ask questions and um, reach out, especially to your district governor next year for all the
I was going to say to reach out to your public image chair, your district's public image chair.
yes.
Gotcha. Well, we have
Okay.
about 5 minutes left, and I'd love to open the floor up to our PEs that are on the line for questions. If you don't have questions, look at your reflection worksheet. What sparked your curiosity, or what connected you to something that somebody said on today's session? Just raise your hand if you want to connect. You want to say something, and we'll go from there. Frank, I see your hand. You got to unmute. Don't forget.
I am unmuted.
Yay.
I belong to the Trumansburg Club, and sorry, I couldn't indicate that. I couldn't figure out how to do it.
That's all right.
Two things. One, I've been a Rotarian long enough that when I first joined, it seemed Rotary was a very modest, humble, we don't advertise what we do, we just do good. And that seemed to be the game plan for many, many years. I'm happy that it's changed. The pendulum has swung. I wish I knew more about social media. The other thing to mention to everybody, in case it gives ideas, is that the Trumansburg Club was chartered in 1927. And in another year, a little bit more than a year, it's going to be 100 years. So I have gotten the bright idea that we're going to make a documentary about our 100 years. And that was prompted by the fact that I've been a member for 25 years. I know and have lots of photos during that time, but very little before that. So I've looked at local papers, dug through files and colleges, and have come up with some old photos, et cetera, et cetera. And we are going to spin that into a video documentary with voiceovers. I suppose it'll be much like the reel that Christine was showing us or told us about, but on a bigger scale. And stay tuned. I'll hope to share that with you in February of 2027.
Okay. Wow. Very, very cool. Sounds like a big undertaking. So I'm glad you're starting early.
For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Other questions, other thoughts, other reflections? Kat Jensen, I'm going to call on you. What did you learn today? Is she still here, or am I calling her into space? She's a member of my club. I don't see her. Okay, so she must have gotten off. Okay, anybody else want to add anything? Well, if not, then I'm going to start winding down. First of all, I want to thank all of our speaker and all of our panelists for sharing their experiences and insight. And to all of you for engaging in this conversation. As you can see, there's no one right answer. There's no one right way to do public image and to communicate. You've got to try and try again and just be willing to keep learning and be curious about what is out there, what tools are there, what other clubs are doing, and to be like Frank and share, what his club is doing and dream big. I think that's really kind of cool. I put up on the screen a link to our post fireside chat survey, as I mentioned earlier. So if you have a few minutes to take to do that, that would be fantastic. And I'll also be putting that in an email reminder. Let's see. So today we explored topics of how to strengthen your club's brand and message, how to leverage digital tools and social media, and how to tell Rotary's story in a way that builds relevance and connection, not only with our club members, but to people outside of Rotary and those that we'd like to recruit into the organization. So yeah, I think that's about it. I want to put in a reminder that registration is open for the in-person President-elect Learning Seminar in March 14th and 15th. Please sign up to register to attend that. Get a hotel room if you live far from Syracuse. And if you can't come and don't have someone else that can fill in for you, please reach out to either myself in District 7120 or Pamela in Central New York to let us know so that we can find other opportunities for you to complete your President-elect Learning Seminar requirements. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time, your energy, and your commitment to being a strong, vibrant Rotary Club leaders next year. Have a great rest of the day, great holiday season. Take care, everyone.
Happy holidays.